Hey guys, today I've got a review of the Rigg CL-2015 Journey tank bag and the optional GPS pack, which I'm going to call more of a tech pack. We'll go over these separately. I'll show you the features of both, some pros and cons, and let you know what I think about them, both here on the FJR and on my 2017 FZ09. Now the tank bag itself, this is my perfect size tank bag. A lot of people have asked me because they know I run a trunk and saddlebags, and I recently got a tail bag for the FZ09. Why don't you use a tank bag? And the primary reason is I'm not a fan of big tank bags because they simply get in my way. But this one is just small enough where it's not obstructing my vision to the gauges. It's short enough where my line of sight is not impeded, at least in the small compact version here, whatsoever. It does hold a lot of stuff that is very useful. I'm going to, of course, show you everything that it can do. It's pretty similar to the tail bag, if you saw that video, with just a couple minor additions. Now, this is the magnetic version. They also have a strap version. I'm just not a fan of straps, and I do have a nice metal tank here, so I can use a magnetic bag. The strap version obviously works on anything with a non-steel tank, aluminum, fiberglass, plastic, etc. Or if you just don't have enough metal in the right places. Now, the most important thing with any magnetic bag is it must be clean. Not only the underside of the bag, but the tank itself. Because any kind of abrasion, well, you're going to turn this thing into a big piece of sandpaper. So make sure every surface is perfectly clean. The magnets themselves are in these flaps. They are quite powerful and they're nicely padded. You have no worries about this actually doing damage to your paint. It's a nice, big, thick material. You just let it flap down. Don't drop it, but you don't have to be real ginger. It is a very powerful magnet. It does require some effort to come up. This is in no way going to fly off your tank, let me put it that way. You got 4 points, 2 on each side and 2 on the ends here, the front and the rear. You have a carry strap that's kind of not spring-loaded but does tensile back down just like their tail bag. They also have a strap if you want to carry it like a backpack. You've got all kinds of clips. You can run a hydration pack, you can run this optional GPS pack. The standard top flap here has a clear sleeve, and this is for putting in a physical map or directions or whatever you want to be looking at if you want to look at something on the top of your bag. Obviously very handy for navigation and things like that. Opening it up, we've got nice solid feeling zippers, a rubber coated pull. On the top lid, we have a mesh section here with Velcro. You can put in anything loose that you want to quickly get to. You've got slots here for pens, pencils, tire pressure gauges, whatever you need there. This Velcro here secures the front flap so you can slide things in or out. The case itself is padded just like their tail bags, just like a camera bag. You've got some fairly thick foam on the sides. You have a flappy mesh panel here to put in anything loose. Nothing on this side. The bottom is very well padded. You don't have to worry about anything damaging your bike. And that's all there is to the bag itself. It's rigid. It does stay up without any problems whatsoever. Now the cool thing is, it's also expandable. So if you do need more room, if you do want that to hold a lot of stuff and you don't mind it getting into your vision a little bit, the whole thing pops up just like luggage. We've got the zipper down here. And up she comes. You get an extra couple inches of vertical room. And it now becomes a quite larger bag, giving you several cubic inches of additional storage directly at the bottom of the bag. So it's not a huge difference. It's not going to turn this into a supersized bag, but it is certainly more versatile. And it does make a difference when you're on the bike. In the up position here, it does just slightly start to get in my way of seeing the gauges, whereas down I have complete clearance. As far as weatherproofing, you could spray this just like I showed you on my tail bag, video, with camping waterproofing spray, or they do give you this rain fly cover, and it has a clear plastic window that mimics your map window, so you can pop this over the whole thing should you want to do that. Now, the optional GPS add-on here, this I'm gonna say is definitely not necessary, and it does have some pretty big drawbacks. But if you happen to be using the tech that is gonna work well in this, it's a fantastic add-on for just a little bit of money. Now what you have is a separate magnetic unit. This can go on the tank itself, or it can go right over top of the bag. The bag has magnetic mounting points, or I should say metallic metal pads right here, 2 in the front and 1 in the rear. So the bag itself becomes your tank if you want to add this on. And it looks like it's now one piece, just as secure. However, you can also simply put this right onto your tank. It's your choice. Now, what this gives you is 3 more pockets. And these are for obviously using your smartphone, a dedicated GPS, and I guess if you're living in 2010, you still have an MP3 player. What they give you here is a rubber pass-through grommet for headphones for a dedicated audio device. You've got a Velcro mesh pocket here in the front, and then both of these zipper open. This is felt lined on the inside, so you can put anything in here with a screen or glass. It won't damage anything. Can't really think of anything that would be useful for. This is back in the day before we used Bluetooth and before we had music built into all our smart devices. I haven't had an MP3 player in many, many, many years. Now, these 2 components here are actually useful. Please note that this is kind of, like I said, stuck in the past. This does not fit, as of this video, 2017, large cell phones. This is only going to fit what are now the small-sized cell phones. So, the regular standard size Androids, the iPhone 5, the iPhone 6. No pluses, no big note displays, nothing like that. And even though this is a touch-compatible plastic screen here, you can't just put your device in there, even if you have a big, thick case, because this is a quite deep well. I would have liked to seen this a lot thinner, because what you end up having to do is reuse the packing foam that they gave you just to hold the display card in there to space your phone. Otherwise, you can't use the display. Without the foam in there, you've got tons of clearance, and it does not work very well having to push it down onto the phone with your finger. So keep this if you're actually going to use this. I even tried this with a case, and all it did is make this a snugger fit. It didn't help with the vertical height. That's the problem. So if this was more a sleeve, a snug sleeve, maybe out of neoprene, that would be great. But this definitely needs a heavy update for 2017. This obviously came out in 2015, probably designed in 13 or 14, so it is, like I said, a little dated. And then up here, what you have is a dedicated GPS device mount. Same kind of thing. You may need to shim up your GPS device. And again, for those of you that are running dedicated GPS devices, at this point in 2017, you probably have a motorcycle specific one. There are tons of them out there. But the shift, at least the last couple of years, has been going to your phone to begin with. So needing this for a GPS that isn't waterproof or isn't designed for motorcycles, or maybe it is designed for motorcycles, but still this huge, probably not going to be what you have. This is going to be an older GPS device for sure. But that's what it gives you, is the exact same thing. Just a deep pocket, rather large space. I'm just leaving this card in here so you can see it. but it's a very generous GPS size. Most of them are not this big and bulky these days. And on the back of this, you have Velcro, and this little thing can flip up, so you can tilt it up a little bit. So if your tank, like this FJR, tilts forward a bit, you don't have to worry about not seeing your GPS. You can angle it up at various angles just by changing that Velcro. That's really cool. I dig that. And then on the back, like I said, if you have a really old GPS that doesn't have Bluetooth, they do give you another headphone grommet out here, so you could run a line out or a headphone out, whatever you happen to do. Like I said, I haven't seen one of those devices in many, many years. I don't know too many people running headphones from a device up into your helmet or anything like that. Everybody these days uses Bluetooth at the very least, no matter what they're using. But the construction, the quality is very good. Maybe you have another use that you can think of for this. It's really cheap, and it's a nice little add-on if you already have the bag, like I said. So there you go, guys. Those are my thoughts on these. The most important thing, like I said, is to make sure your surfaces are clean. Don't drag them off, pick them off your bike, and you'll keep everything clean and safe. So that's been the Journey tank bag and the optional GPS mount. See you next time.